When I think about youth soccer development, I think of it as two stages. First, you master control over the ball, then you master control over the game, as it is very difficult to practice any type of tactics if you cannot control the ball. Unfortunately, in youth soccer in the United States, but also in Germany, it is structured in a way where mastering the game is the constant focus of almost every training session. And technical development is kind of a little bit of an add-on coaches squeeze in from time to time or see as a warm-up opportunity. One of the reasons coaches spend way too much time on tactics and situations like corner kicks or offside or other things that just don't help the kids in the long term at a young age is because they get asked to and because it will make a difference in winning games right away. Let's look at an example. The parents come to the coach and say, "Coach, our kids all don't understand offsides. They really need to learn how to avoid being offsides. We miss out so many chances because of it." So the coach thinks about it, he plans a training, he builds a training session for offsides, he practices twice, 3 times, and actually the team will perform better with not running into offsides all the time. But that raises a little bit more of a structural question. Is spending time on offsides at age 7, 8, 9 actually something that will help them in the long term develop the very best? Now you can say, Lasse, what is the alternative? Not doing it and constantly running offside, not knowing how to play the game and losing against way worse teams just because we don't understand the fundamental rules? I would look at it from a different perspective. Let's look at the winger, for example, in a game of 9v9. The winger might play out of a 50-minute game, 30 minutes on the field. The winger might make 30 runs up and down the field and get the ball for a total of 1 to 2 minutes of playing time during the game, if it goes well, if your team is one of the better teams. And the rest of the time, the winger just runs up and down the field, trying to not be an offside. Why does this help a 9-year-old child get better at soccer? How does this help the child when they're 16, 17, or 18 years old? Actually, at all. It doesn't. But it's not the coach's fault or the formation's fault. It is the system's fault for creating a game that looks like that for kids of that age. Having a situation where kids play 9v9 or 11v11 at bodies half grown and technical skills not full developed and a mental capacity that really struggles with thinking about many different concepts and rules at the same time just is not necessarily beneficial. They can still do that when they're 14, 15, 16, 22, 25, 33 years old. Why do we spend so much time playing on giant fields where we just take away the context, the decision-making moments, and the actual engagement of the players, when we could also spend our time giving them the opportunity to constantly be engaged in 1v1 and 2v2 situations, constantly make decisions, and refine their technical skills through a huge amount of repetition? Why do we spend so much time playing on giant fields with little kids when we could also help them by just taking the format to 5v5 and 3v3? Another one of our big criticisms on how youth soccer is structured is age-based play. There's very few reasons to group kids by their birth year age or by their grade, by that matter. You will find who are the best kids in the year born 2007, 2012, 2015, if you just let them compete against other kids of this age. And if the goal is to figure out who are the very best kids of this age, it is the really only way to do it. But if you ignore that goal and if you say, I don't care who are the best kids of this age, I just want to help every kid individually improve, that system is senseless. If you think about any team that your child is on or that you're coaching, if you decide and you pick the 2 best players of this team and you let them play in a 2v2 against the 2 worst players in this team, I think in 10 minutes you'll have a score like 10-0. What does this tell you? It tells you that in the team you have a big difference of kids that could be playing probably on a higher level or could be probably playing at a lower level, and both have developed faster. And what you will also see is that kids change their behavior of playing based on the players they are around on. If I am on a team where I am one of the weaker players and I know that this one kid, he can score the ball anytime, he can take the free kick, he can go to 1v1, he can score it, I'm probably going to pass, and probably the coach and the parents on the sideline say, pass the ball to their teammate. I will probably step back when this teammate is close around, and I see kids changing their behavior all of the time because I know our chance as a team is higher to succeed if I let the real soccer star of the team do the work. That player has way more contacts off the ball, has way more playing time, and will develop a lot faster because of it than the kids that are kind of on the back burner, the bench warmers of the team. Now, why are the kids that are the top of the team not moving up? Well, there's multiple reasons. One, you can only move up once a year. If you can only move up once a year, you're going to have huge times of improvements. That can be 20% of your life or 10% of your life at age 10, that you're in one team and you shouldn't be on one team just because you're in a 1-year cycle of the team you made. If you can just move up or down any time, every 3 months, every 6 weeks, whatever time, you're going to have a lot more evenly matched teams. The second point is, what if the team above you is already full? Well, there's no spot left. That's a problem. You cannot move up right now. And the other problem is that if you want to move up in this team, someone else has to leave that team, unless you will just make the roster bigger and make the team weaker with that overall. Now, imagine you're in a school system where the teacher comes to you and say, your kid is great. He's the best child in 2nd grade from all of the kids in my class, top performer. Unfortunately, she can't go to 3rd grade right now. And you say, why can't my child go up to 3rd grade? Well, the 3rd grade team is full, and we really don't want to move anyone down to 2nd grade, so unfortunately we don't have a spot for you. You would say that's ludicrous. You would never attend such a school. And in soccer, that's exactly what's taken place. Every time your child moves up, it needs to take a spot from someone else going down. And that system just doesn't make any sense at all. Instead, if you let the kids perform by their abilities and move up through different levels based on when they are ready to move up, you're going to remove that barrier and you're going to have a massive improvement on development, fun, and challenge for all kids participating. Another big issue is the way that coaching is structured and the incentive system that we create for coaches. If you put me in charge of 10 kids and you say, Lasse, I want you to find as much success as possible with this team. I say, all right, here's the league table. We want to get, this is our season goal. We want to get 1st place in the league, or we want to make relegation for the next level up. What am I going to do? I'm going to do everything in my power to help my team achieve that goal. Is that a good goal for each individual player to win as many games as possible? Probably not, but that's not so important because for the team as a whole, my job is to win as many games as possible. So what am I going to do? All right, first of all, I'm going to put the best lineup on the field as much time as possible. I'll try to squeeze in the other kids a little bit to get some playing time, but only so much that the parents don't get me in trouble, because I don't want to discuss with the other parents, and we do at the end need the players to be on the bench in case someone gets injured. But for the team, they're really just there as a backup. I need to put my star players in the most important positions. I'm going to put my best player in the midfield. I'm going to make sure that the kids that might do a mistake definitely don't play on defense in the dangerous situations. And then I'm going to make sure that we can serve the game around these best players so they can really make us win. They get the free kicks, they shoot the penalties, they do everything that really can make a difference. Then, of course, in training, I'm going to focus on supporting my team achieving the goal. So I'm going to look week by week of what can cause us to lose, who are we playing against, and how do we specifically prepare to win against these opponents. And then we're going to try and beat the other players because it is us against them. And if we score a goal more than the other team in the end, we did a great job. It doesn't matter how the game went. If we won 1-0 and we scored more goals than the other team, we did a fantastic job. If we lost 4-5, we clearly failed at our mission. Now, that system, you could say, what type of coach will do that? And most coaches you'll talk to realize that that is not a good system and don't think that's good. But in the end, like everything else in the world, humans are very incentive driven. If we get measured by our success, and the success means results, we will work towards trying to achieve as much success as possible in that. If your coaching director comes to you and looks at, you lost 9 out of 10 games, you clearly are not successful in this league and someone else is being unbeaten, you of course are going to continue to work into it. When I interview coaches and they tell me I have won a state championship with a team that was ranked something in some state, then I already know how they're thinking about success. And it is just also very hard to measure success when you're looking at success for individual development for individual players. But from a long-term perspective for the kids, from a developmental perspective, it is the best way to do it. You want to help kids on an individual base. It doesn't matter for the kids at all how successful the team was below the age of 12, 13 years old. It doesn't matter what in the U8 league if you were 3rd or 5th place in the league. It really doesn't. The problem is that the system of youth soccer is structured that my team is the result of my work and my success is measured by how my team is doing. So I just don't think that coaches should have a specific team that they feel responsible for in a way where they get the praise for the team's rewards in results. This is one of the reasons that we don't have fixed coaches for fixed teams. I just don't want to create that. And I don't care if the coaches team won or lost 2-1 or something. I want the game to be close, and I want the kids to get better, and I want the coaches coaching during the games to be at that. I don't want the coach to have an incentive to let certain players play more than others. And if you take that away, you will see that every player will develop a lot faster than they can in a system that's built in a different way. When I think about why these things are not changed and why so many teams and coaches and clubs are focused on how to win more games in the next 5 to 10 days or weeks instead of in the next 5 to 10 years, it is because the incentive system is broken. People's incentives are not aligned with acting for 5 or 10 year development because they will actually get punished. They will get punished by weaker results, will get punished by unhappy parents who are not fully bought in the mission, and they will get punished with kids leaving the club compared to playing in their organization. I don't think that we can fault the coaches or even the directors of the clubs to participate in the system. It is just what naturally makes the most sense for them. But we can fault the UF soccer system as a whole in how it's structured for development, because I don't think it makes sense for 99% of the kids participating with it. Part of me hopes that more people will come to this realization, change the way that youth soccer is structured, and we can give millions of kids playing, which in the United States we have millions of kids playing, a better development system for soccer development. It will help kids get better, it will help youth soccer overall, and it will help society as a whole as well. And part of me says, maybe I'm better off if people are staying stubborn, don't want to change the way that they're doing things, and we are alone doing it the right way. Either way, I'm super excited to see how the next years play out, and I'm excited for you to be part of it. Thank you for watching this video, and thank you for being part of Fußballi.